This might be the most racist game on the internet, and it's called ethnic cleansing. As you might expect, shooting darker individuals, Hispanics, and Jews is the center focus of this game. And no, it's not made by some edgy teenagers looking for shock value. It was actually created by one of America's largest white supremacy groups back when CDs were still a thing. So yeah, this is literally propaganda. This is white power propaganda, and it's insane. In fact, you can find the organization's little white power logo all over the game, and they literally tried to indoctrinate you during the gameplay. Like, what? What is this? To be honest though, this game is quite short, so we're gonna be splitting the video into two parts. First, I'll be playing the game, and then we're gonna deep dive into the circus surrounding its release. Like the hilarious public statements and drama this game made in the white power community. Yes, there is white power drama about this game.
Remove this scallywag individual from the vehicle. Your crude wording is extremely unnecessary. You shan't influence the youth with such scallywag.
So installing this game immediately freaked me the fuck out. It's kind of one of those things that you just feel super uncomfortable doing because now I probably have a keylogger. But that's okay, because now I can play this shitty ass racist game for that sweet YouTube ad revenue that I can guarantee I probably will no longer be getting after this video. I clicked on start.exe because I thought that was the game exe, but apparently it's just for the settings. And oh boy, there are some great setting options here, such as the beautiful music choice between shooting Boogie or Beethoven. Or if you'd prefer, you can either play as an Aryan policeman, skinhead, or Klansman. So I decided not to change anything besides the copyrighted music so as to not be cancelled at only 5,000 subscribers.
Please subscribe.
Loading up the game, I was delightfully greeted by the screams of children and monkey sounds. What an experience. I am so glad this is the game I decided I would play.
White revolution is the only solution.
Whoa. And the main menu is even worse than the load-in screen because I have this loud-ass cheering and 90s music slamming in both of my ears while simultaneously having the SS skull on my screen, and I can't even lower the music. I have to physically lower my computer volume because the volume slider in the options doesn't even work. But that's fine, it's all fine, I guess. Let's just get to the main event. Starting the game, we start on a mission called Operation Ghetto Storm, where the city is overrun by anarchy that we have to save by literally genociding every other race. Yup, this is the actual storyline, and our first big boss that we'll need to fight is a guy with a name that I can't say on YouTube. And on top of everything that this shit pie has forced down my throat for the past 5 minutes, the actual gameplay makes me want to gouge my eyes out. It runs at like a snail pace, like 2 frames a second snail pace, and someone decided to make the WASD keys instead be S, Z, X, and C, because why the hell not at this point? I'm so sorry that you have to witness this 2 frame a second racist nightmare while you're trying to eat. Getting into the actual gameplay, I actually didn't realize this was all a horror game, because this game has a really terrible fog effect. Maybe it's just for optimization, maybe it's just a quirk of the engine, but whatever it is, it's the worst thing in the entire world. In fact, when starting out, I literally couldn't see who was shooting at me, which is a consistent theme of playing this game. Like even removing the racism factor for a minute, between the 2 frames per light year and the Vanta Black fog, I couldn't say this was a better alternative than to putting my face on a stove. When I could see the enemies, I was instantly reminded of what I was playing, because when I killed them, they made monkey sounds. Some of them have a word on their shirt, and some of them are in a basketball court. And at the end of the day, no matter how much I try to censor this, YouTube is going to hate me. Despite all this, I did try to do some exploring, but because of this dumbass fog, trying to figure out the layout of the map was almost impossible. Especially when I kept dying over and over again. Because every shot I take deals 5 damage to my health, and apparently they could just see me through walls or even before I see them. So my idea was just to keep dying and respawning and learning the positions of the enemies until I could just clear them out. And for a while, it kinda worked, but at the same time, the more of the map I explored, it felt like there were more and more enemies. And then I realized the 1 million dots on my map are the enemies. Like I thought there couldn't be that many, but there literally was. Why are there so many enemies? What the fuck? And speaking of enemies, there are a couple variations. As I mentioned, there is also a Hispanic faction on this map. They're dressed funny and they have a few unique voice lines. But I feel like it could have been more interesting. Like if you're going to use racism as a gameplay mechanic, at least make it so different factions have different weapons and unique abilities based on stereotypes. That would have been totally legit. Like just imagine if they had added the Asian DLC and they just like throw ninja stars and chopsticks at you. I'm Asian, I could say this. And my Latino editor's idea for this was that the Mexicans could like throw tacos or something. If they had done that, it would probably have made this game Game of the Year, and they fucked it up. So, looking at the minimap, you could see there's some stuff behind this door, plus the little white power logo makes it pretty obvious, so I walked through it, and lo and behold, it's a secret room. Well, there is a secret room if I could get up these stairs, but once up the stairs, yeah, there's a website link to some shitty website, which we'll take a look at in a bit, but there's also ammo and more of these white power logos that are actually health points. Very subtle, guys. But my favorite part about this room has to be when you walk towards this TV, it starts playing this indoctrination video.
We need the professors and the military officers.
It just cuts out. Didn't even tell me the rest of the story. Yep, it just cuts out. They made me sit through it and didn't even include the whole video. This is now officially the saddest day in history. Anyways, the secret room was useful for one thing though, which was now the fact that I knew of a place that I could always go to for help. You see, the save button doesn't work. Maybe it's just because the frames are so low the game doesn't register me trying to save, but nevertheless, I kept trying to go back to this room and reset my health. That way I could kind of progress the game inch by inch, you know? Eventually, I killed so many people that I didn't really know where to go, so I walked around for a bit. Also, for some reason, only the Hispanics respawn, which I thought was pretty weird. After walking around endlessly for quite a while, I eventually did find this back area, which was where the big guy was hiding. And while trying to kill him, he got my health super low, so I employed my Cheez-It tactic, went back to the safe room, got more health, came back and killed him, which was super unsatisfying. The only interesting thing about this room was that the boombox plays more monkey sounds. Not that I condone that, racism is bad. I didn't realize where to go next until I walked past this previously closed area. And like I was in a rom-com, I caught it out of the corner of my eye and turned around to see it open. And boom, boys, level 2, the Lair of the Beast, the New York City subway. So this is our first encounter with the Jewish enemies, and when you kill them, they spin around and say oy vey. And then there's this really weird yellow piss fog everywhere, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to represent. I kept dying on this level, like I would just spawn in and die, mostly in the women's bathroom where there's 6 enemies that ambush me, and there's not much that I could do about it. You see, on this level, it sets my health to like 50 for some reason. So between the damage I take at the start and the damage I take in the bathroom, there's no way. Considering I already spent an hour of my precious life on this shitty game, I was not going to just keep going back and forth. I was actually ready to stop playing this game, but I had an idea, and it starts with the letter C and ends with the letter E. Cheat engine, boys! In order to get cheat engine to work, I needed the game in windowed mode, because in full screen the game would crash if I minimized it. And this no sound selected guy would become the bane of my existence because I had to listen to that voice line every time I tried getting this game to not crash. And now it's seared into my brain, and he's probably gonna start commentating my dreams. Like every time I fall asleep, he's just gonna come out and say no sound selected. Eventually though, I did get it to work and successfully hooked cheat engine without the game crashing, which is big dubs for me because I set my health to some really big number ready to cheese the game. But no matter what I set my health to, it resets to 100 after being shot, which is bullshit and confused me, so I kept going back to cheat engine to change it only for the game to change it back. I couldn't even cheat in this shitty ass game. So that was it. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. Hey guys, if you somehow like my content, I actually have a Discord server and you can join and talk to me. Link in description. So after my eyes, and now your eyes, were forced to witness this terrible, terrible game, it's time to do some digging. This game was made by an organization named the National Alliance, and this is their terrible website. If we go ahead and take a look at what they believe, it's pretty clear what their goal is. Be white and be racist. Now, since I'm a yellow boy, I can't apply, but if we take a look at their application requirements, you need to be as white can be, which excludes Jews, people married to non-whites, and people dependent on non-whites. Plus, of course, your $25 application fee. That part is probably the most important for them. Anyways, this was all created by a guy named William Pierce. He's the one responsible for creating the organization and the game. And speaking of the game, Pierce loves to defend this shitty game in public statements. Like here, when Bro said, our games are not for the purpose of sponsoring hatred. They're to give white kids a sense of hope, a sense they can fight back, which is actually an oxymoron from the moron, because saying that your game isn't about sponsoring hatred and then telling people to fight back is literally the definition of contradictory. And even more contradictory to the game itself is the response from white nationalists on white nationalist forums. You can actually see that despite the pro-white agenda, people weren't too happy with this game. Because something people don't seem to realize is that no matter how many people support your agenda, making something shitty to sell to people isn't gonna make anyone happy. In fact, there was a lot of backlash on this. People who bought the game to support the National Alliance didn't even like it because the gameplay, as we just discovered, is literal garbage. As you can see here, this guy on the white nationalist forums not only calls it a joke, but introduces introduces me to my new favorite word, Claniclaus. Now, I wasn't able to fully complete the game, I know, but there is a little bit more to the game had we continued the subway level. We would have gotten introduced to our final boss, Ariel Sharon, with a rocket launcher. If you don't know who that is, he was the previous Prime Minister of Israel. So, you know, the game's kind of making it a little bit difficult here on my family-friendly YouTube career. It makes me so excited to think about reading the comment section on this video. I'm sure it'll be nothing racist and nothing political. Okay, so after researching for this video, while trying to get sounds for the game, I came across a few gems with my editor. Here is some stuff from the game files that I didn't hear in game. So there's a Hitler audio file.
We destroyed Hitler's vision of an heir homeland. We silenced Henry Ford.
What is Henry Ford doing here?
Suck on this.
John.
Oh god, dude.